show we have 6 o'clock.
Okay, want to get started?
Let's get started.
Hey, did you read my agenda?
Yes, I'm gonna get started. First off,
Thank you.
I want to thank everybody for showing up. This is good. Number 2, I thank Celeste and her family for letting us use this facility. It means a lot.
Thank you.
And she lives in Sunday. So, come here to eat and drink. I'm going to start us off with a serenity prayer like I did last time. I hope everybody can hear us okay.
Hey, if you can't hear well, I stole this from my 2-year-old niece, and if we need to use it, we can.
Steve,
Just
we
let
need
me
to
know.
use it? Steve, we need to use it or? All right, let's all bow our head in prayer. God, give us grace to accept with this serenity the things that cannot be changed. Courage to change the things which should be changed, and the wisdom to distinguish the one from another. And God's people say, amen. Thank you. Next.
Okay. Next. I'm curious. I'm just nosy. Yeah, I got the woman's voice. Can you guys hear me okay? Okay. Stand up and project? Okay.
Yes.
Sorry. Raise your hands if you've read all the bylaws and the covenants. Every page, not listed, you've read every word. Okay, I gotta put my hand down, because I did not. The people who had their hands raised, have you read them in 2025? When's the last, have you read them recently?
We read it, we bought the house and then again after the first meeting.
Sweet, okay, that's good, that's awesome. Basically what I'm trying to say is, let's be humble. I haven't even read it all, so we'll see what happens. Also, I'm not in charge, but
And
at
neither am
all,
I.
I'm just a person that's like, I'm gonna live here forever, and I don't really want anything to change, so let's talk. Okay. Also, I have the agenda for you guys, also, but I also do, if anybody does want to make a copy, these are my copies. I have the bylaws. There are different stages of them. I do have the meeting minutes from the library here, if anybody wants a copy or wants to look at those. Here are the Deerfield covenant and easement conditions. When we lost, we didn't lose, but when the Barkers and Oak Park decided that they would separate from us, they are Oak Park, we are Deerfield, that is fine. There had to be a change in paperwork. The original paperwork that the Barkers filed for farmland was in 1985. All of it was Deerfield. Oak Park was not cool with that. That's fine. Go have your own subdivision. I have not noticed any changes, no bylaws. The only thing I see a change in our 1995 document that I've seen so far is outlining, there's easements and there's property lines, and they had to define those for legal purposes. Other than that, I haven't seen a whole lot of changes. Now, I don't know what Oak Park's HOA looks like. I don't care, I don't live there. So, there's that in case anybody ever wants it. And here's a copy of our bylaws. They're not real big and they seem pretty generic. We'll talk about it later as you guys have run it, but I have these here for you guys if anybody wants them. Okay, next piece. Does anybody want to do a roll call or do an introduction and write down a name just because there are so many neighbors here? I don't care. I'll do either way. We can do no roll call, a roll call, stand up and tell me your name and where you're from. I enjoyed meeting a lot of you guys. I was like, you live where? After the other day I was at the library. Like, you're literally across the street from me and I had no idea. So I'm fine either way. We could do no roll call, I could pass around a paper, or we can all stand up and, hi, my name's Katie and I live on Biltmore. Whatever. It's up to you guys. Does anyone have a preference?
Okay. Well, let's start with us three, make sure everybody knows who we are. Yeah.
Hold that thought, actually. Does anybody have good penmanship and know how to spell? Did anyone actually get hooked on phonics? Because I didn't.
Well, there's sheets going around.
Form over here.
Okay. I'll write it down.
It's important is He's got one of yours that's going around.
Yeah, mine's going
There's
around.
one going around.
Oh, he's got one.
Yeah.
Oh, thank goodness. 'cause
We
I'm
may
not-
need more, but
That's okay. If we
Yeah.
run out, we've got more, but thank goodness, because I'm not a good speller. Okay, go ahead, Gordon. Oh, sorry. My name's Katie Latitis. I live on Biltmore, and I've lived in Deerfield since 2017.
My name's Rick Turner. Don't let my youthful looks and hair misinform you. I'm 66 years old. I live on Turnstone with my wife Rose, and we've lived in Deerfield since May of 2007.
well, a lot of you know me because I kind of took it on 7 years ago to, I don't know, just kind of be making sure everybody's taken care of. My name's Gordon French, my wife is Jeannie. We live on Knoxville. Been there since 2016, and within a year, I noticed a lot of things were getting done through the city and through some neighbors. So I started walking around and getting some ideas. I started groups of people to help clean the ditches. That was all pretty quick. I have got the Deerfield signs, and they were made in our subdivision, by the way, by the guy over there on Carrier.
Those look really nice.
Those were nice, and everybody that donated, I thank you for that. We had 3 signs made, there were $1,275. Also, while we're at it, instead of putting those new signs on old boards, we had a fence put up, and I had a crew doing that. It's not we have a team. It's not all me at all. My goal at the time, in 7 years, with the signs and the fence fixing, the potholes, the street lights, I got so much of it, but anyway. My goal was, God calls us to help people, period. And that's what I've been called, I've got to do. Not to run things, I am not the mayor, everybody calls me, but that's fine. I'm here to help people, and that's why I want to get this started, get people involved and helping, doing the same thing. That makes sense? Very good.
That's what we're all doing.
Yep,
So,
thank you.
whoever wants to.
Start up
Oh,
here.
yeah, we'll go around. Oh, he loves public speaking.
Greg, I live with that one. I'm Dave Antoine, I live on Palmer, with my wife Deborah.
I'm Scott, live on Yeager, with my wife and kids, who's in there since 2021.
I'm Dan Weber, I live in Manhattan since 2019. Donovan Carapat, we live on Mountain View since 2004. Wow.
Lori Becker, and my husband David, he's out of town right now. We live on Bunting, and he's been here since 2022 from Los Angeles.
Wow, welcome.
Why did you choose?
Mary
It's
Pickford.
always family.
Later.
I'm Mary Pickford, I live on the Bunting cul-de-sac and moved there in August of 2013.
There's stuff running behind us up here.
Yeah.
I'm Tiffany Schigel, I've lived on Crane since 2009.
I'm Sarah, this is my husband Joe, we live on Crane, we've been here for
Tim Howard, I live on Murray between Knoxville and
Stephanie, I'm Manhattan, we moved in 2016.
Angie Overrider, as on the
Knoxville. We lived in Deerfield since 2014.
I'm Michelle Smith. I live in Harrier.
Katie Kaufman, I live on Harrier, I don't know, maybe 4 or 5 years, I can't remember.
I'm Dawn Nims, I live on the corner of Gander and Bunting, and I've been there since 2008. Former 2018.
Steve Mary Country, we own a place on Nashville, presently renting it and planning on retiring there this couple of years. Since a week, I think it was.
I'm Janet Miller, I'm on Bunting, been there since 2001.
I'm Carla Johnson. I live on Biltmore, Heritage, and Sarah.
And I am Paula Hall, and I bought a house in 2005, I live on Dublin. There's like 7 houses on Dublin.
I'm Jeremy McClung. I live on Harrier, been in Deerfield since 2010.
Mary Beth Lawhorn, Cormorants. Back up to the bike trail in 2021. And I taught him.
Wasn't a very good student.
No, but you had a lot of personality. You were a good student.
I can start.
Okay.
Ryan Fish, I'm on Harrier. Been there since 2020. Reminds me of my son on the tree swing, reading a book.
Oh, you're the first
I'm Mark Windsor, this is my wife Deb, we live on Manhattan, we've been there since 2014. First time around, we moved on Manhattan in 2003, we were there until 2012. So we had a two-year layover.
Brandy, I went to Manhattan in 2005. Erin Hare, Craig Geese on Crane since 2007.
That was a big year.
Yeah, all right.
Luann and Aaron Romine, we live on Bunting since February of 2002.
Candace and Maurice moved on Turnstone and February.
Is there anyone in this peripheral vision who has not got to say their name?
Newman.
Newman, oh.
I'm Sharon Newman, this is my husband Jim, and we've been on Bunting since 2020.
I'm Sid Benjamin, my wife Steven. We bought a property in 2013 and invested in multiple. We have on Cormorant and Joanne.
I'm Chelsea, I live on Bunting, I think I moved in there in 21, and before that I lived on Clover. I think I moved in there in 8.
I was gonna say, why didn't you say you've been there since 1990?
I'm in the 1990s, yeah. I originally moved
He lived
into
here with
Johan Court
he was
when
here.
Johan Court, Finch Haven ran into dirt. So there was no Manhattan or anything when I originally moved into the neighborhood. Took a couple year hiatus, moving around a couple apartments with this one, then returned to my home neighborhood.
You.
Yeah.
You guys wanna, let's not say any names this way now, and then we'll get started?
I'm Rose Turner, live on Turnstone.
Does anybody need this?
Celeste Hallam, and I live on Mountain View Drive since 2023.
Yeah.
I'm Corey Wright, Lindsay, Carol, and Larry on Clover, so we're all in there. And I live on Mountain View, and we've been there since 2016.
And the one that played our block party
Block
last
party,
fall.
It's a block party.
We'll get this figured out, we'll have another one.
Yeah, there will be.
We're Steve and Leanne Sheffel. We've lived on Turnstone since 2001.
Steve and Amy Emmerich. We live on Finch Haven since 2006.
Zach and Madison Pierce, we live at 5200 Crane Drive. We've been there since 2020. No, 2022, sorry, I was wrong.
I like how you guys can read each other's minds, like which one of us is gonna have to talk. Good for you. Anybody over here that let me see your faces. I'm gonna forget your name, but I'm sorry. That's just not something.
It'll be
I-
hey you from here on.
Yeah, I'm not good with things. Okay, before we get started, Gordon, myself, and Rick here has agreed to be on the board if the board needs to be established. With that being said, it's a minimum of 3. Does anybody else want to be a part of this?
Yes.
Then come on down.
There's an arm.
Come on down.
Come on up here.
We're not gonna hurt your feelings. I know she does.
Well, yeah.
Take a look.
That's right.
I'm just sitting.
Sorry, I was waiting for driver's ed stuff over by the door. Yeah, I did. Katie Kaufman, just had major back surgery a couple months ago. I would like to be on the board. I'm pretty chill. I don't want things to change in Deerfield. I want to make sure we're fully insured, but at the cheapest rate possible, so we're not paying an arm and a leg. I don't want to take your sheds away from you. I don't want to tell you how many cars to park in your driveway. I don't care, okay? I would like to be on the board just to have somebody chill who's also going to be able there to handle things. I teach driver's ed, like I just said. Clearly, I'm pretty calm in scary situations for the most part. But yeah, thanks for your vote, Katie Kaufman. I'm here.
Okay, for the record, there is no vote needed.
Oh, okay.
That's why I'm asking.
You're the same.
Oh, can I go wait for the driver's ed stuff? Is that cool? Oh, okay.
If you look at the original covenants, they, so I guess we need to make some explanations first. And trust me, I am the first to tell you, I have not read all of these rules. I have not read every page of these. I will be the first to admit. So if you guys know something that I don't know, please speak up.
We have to have quorum, and vote, which would be like, I think 43 houses would have to vote
For
to elect people to be on the board. I could be totally wrong.
to change anything on the bylaws.
Okay.
To change the bylaws.
It's not to bring people on. I mean, I don't think you have a problem with doing
So,
that. but-
no, you're good. I'll try to explain this. When I try to explain this, if it doesn't make sense or if you guys know something different, just let me know, okay? I have a teeny tiny rule. I'm doing this for free and I don't want to be yelled at because I cry really easily and I'm a really ugly crier. So please be nice because I told my husband if I start crying, he's gonna take me to Longhorn for dinner, so don't make me cry.
Wait a minute.
Just
That might be a good deal. Go to Longhorn? Yeah, okay.
I'm just saying, it's a win-win either way. I'll dry my tears on the way to Longhorn.
Yes, dear. Thank you.
That's all I have. That's all I have on that. And sometimes, I apologize, I use my terminology. I have a 4 and a 7-year-old at home, so sometimes my terminology is a little lighthearted. I'm not making fun. Okay. I'm just going to read this. I know most of you already have a copy of this, but this is the way I have understood it from what I have researched and learned and people I have talked to. In 1985, the Barkers saw some land out on the west side of Springfield. They're like, let's develop this and make some money off of it. We can turn this. And the big hopping thing sale at that time was no wires. No wires. We all have underground electricity, and that was the big thing back in the 80s. So they developed a homeowners association. They put it on file with Sangamon County. All is well. We start building properties. Life is good. We move on next to Oak Park. That's where a lot of you guys see in our covenants why it says the word either like some say 95, 96, depending on whatever version you got. Some say 95, some say 96. That covenant had to be updated because Oak Park wanted to be their own subdivision and piece themselves away from Deerfield. The Barkers allowed that. They probably have their own HOA. I don't know what it says. I don't care. I don't want to live there. But most of what you see here in these covenants, from what I've gathered, nothing has changed other than they had to define property lines. They had to give appropriate easements so that Deerfield and Oak Park people alike can use them, especially since a lot of these properties are close to the bike trail. So if you see the 95, there's that. rumor mill. I can't prove this, it's just something someone has told me. It sounds like the Barkers have tried to come to the Deerfield several times and tried to get us to establish an HOA, and we had always refused. That's just a rumor, I don't know if that's true. Oak Park subdivision wanted to offload some of their property, I think, which is why Oak Park Estates is where they're at. If you all remember the small group in the meeting behind us, well, Oak Park Estates and Deerfield properties are all now full. And per the contract that was filed by the Barkers in 1985 and modified again in 96, the only way for them to legally get out of taking care of our property, because we all bought, we live here, the only way for them to get out of it is to resign, and that's all they have to do. They can resign once the last property is sold, and it's now our problem. The meeting at the library was just, actually, it wasn't even, what was his name, Tim. He wasn't even the lawyer for the Barkers. He just lived there, was trying to help, hey, let's get 3 people on the board, because if not, this could suck for you guys. That didn't happen, that's okay. I think a lot of people didn't know, and I definitely felt like, wait a minute, why are we talking about this now? What are we getting into? What are we into? Are they tricking us? I think they want to retire. I haven't talked to them personally, but I think they want to retire, and it's all full. Let's see. Oh, and the only way they got to resign was because the last property was sold. I know a lot of you probably received letters last week from the Barkers or Oak Park Estates or whatever they are calling it now. They have to, by law, legally notify all of us. Just because some people came to the library does not mean they legally notified. So to cover their behinds, they had to send us all letters. So that essentially, if we don't do anything and someone gets hurt on those properties, they told us. Now, I have since called my insurance agent, and I have talked with them. And if someone gets hurt on one of those properties and they sue us, they can sue all of us right now. Now, luckily, my homeowner's insurance said that they'll take care of it. But I'm sorry, that's lazy, in my opinion. We can do something. I don't want to change any bylaws by any means, but we can do something. Which brings me to my plans. I have a few plans that I'd like to go over, and I bet a lot of you guys also have plans. I've listed in priority. I want to hear your guys' idea too. I listed the definitions out here. I'm not going to read out definitions. You guys are all smart. They're just there in case. My first plan, by the way, I want to thank Rose and Rick. They both took me out the other day because everybody keeps talking about these 3 properties, and I'm like, and these ponds, and I'm like, Deerfield doesn't have a pond, that's found. No, we don't. Yeah, we do. I didn't realize that, so.
It's retention and detention, so yes.
I'm a visual person, so I had to print this out. This is where I live. I'm the blue dot right here. You can look at your home and figure it out, and I have pointed out where properties 1, 2, and 3 are, and they are all outlined here. By looking at the updated easement and contracts on file from that 95-96 updated, there is a dividing line here. And this is Oak Park's problem.
Yes.
Now, my first thing, what would I like to do? I am a big fan of less government and self-preservation. My first plan is, I would like to do a CRP, a Conservation Reserve Program. Does anybody in here know what a CRP is?
You farmers do.
So, I don't know if our land qualifies for a CRP or not, but we're gonna find out. And I don't know if anybody else knows this, but the person who signs those, I don't even know if we're eligible, but I do know the person that signs the approval for those just so happens to be Gordon French's wife. So, anywho, yes, I'm sorry.
That's all right. Concerning the CRP, I talked to those folks today, and the first requirement is that the body or person applying for the CRP program must supply yield and cropping data history.
Yes.
And something prior to 1985 is not going to work, or 1995 is not going to work.
That is correct.
Yeah,
But-
and my wife's
but this is a brand new association, and I realize there's going to be a little bit of legwork here in the beginning, but those contracts are typically 10 years long. I don't wanna say I wanna set it and forget it, but the nice part about a CRP is, the purpose is to plant your natural flowers and your trees for all the natural habitats and the bees and all the wonderful stuff. So that, they, great. But the nice part about it being in a CRP is you're not allowed to mow it. Because if you mow it, then you're destroying that community for the birds and the bees and all that's around. Yes.
The young lady that I talked to today said that under certain circumstances, the landowner is required to mow.
Correct.
In certain areas, that is
In
correct.
certain circumstances.
That is
Not
correct.
necessarily areas, she said circumstances.
Correct, you are correct. And one of the perks of a CRP, usually they're 10-year contracts. I only know a little bit because my grandfather had one of these and lives in the middle of the country, and that's the only reason I know about this much information. I'm gonna talk to your wife one of these days more, but, the nice part is, we plant. First, it needs a little cleanup work. I don't know if you guys can see these in some of these pictures. We know people are dumping out here. Guess what? I did it too. My pumpkins, every year. I don't care. Good pumpkins, let a deer eat it. You guys throw your flowers out there that you're done with? Great. That thing that it comes in, that black container, it doesn't dissolve. So we need to, we're gonna need to clean the area up and dethatch it just a little bit, but we're good people. We've been good people this whole entire time taking care of the subdivision. What's an hour to pick up a few sticks, and if we can do this CRP, they will pay us to let us use our land. We can then in turn take that money and pay our insurance and keep us safe. That way, and I'm not interested in changing bylaws unless you guys are interested to protect. The only reason I would ever be interested in changing bylaws is if you guys wanna take more language out of here to protect yourself. Like, our bylaws say something about a shed. If you guys want whoever's on the board to go to the county building and sit, and we have to actually, we have to vote on that then. But if you guys, if whatever you guys wanna do, I don't want to spend my money, I don't want to argue, and I just wanna stay in my happy little house and have fun. There's my kind of plan. That's the first idea. Second idea, and I did not realize this until this genius over here was telling me about Weeping Willows. I was gonna get there eventually. I did not realize what the purpose of a weeping willow is. So if we can't apply for a CRP, weeping willows, there is quite a bit of water because there's a lot of blockage that we need to get cleaned up. They plant weeping willows around that area to suck up moisture. If we planted a few trees ourselves, it would make whoever's job a lot easier to mow it if we had to. We also can vote on, we could also have 3 board members dissolve the HOA, but we would have to have a minimum of 3 trustees. We'd have to go to Sangamon County and we have to take it off, file. That also would protect us all from being sued, and that's fine. But then anybody also can come and move into this subdivision and do whatever the hell they want, and you can't do anything about it.
And who owns those?
Well-
Detention ponds. Wouldn't we have to do something with those?
We'd have to sell them, yeah.
And who's gonna buy them?
And who's gonna buy them, exactly. Who do you want
Because
buying
they're a
that?
liability.
And
and
she
I-
wants to buy them.
No, I don't. I wanna say that as owners, if we don't sell them, we are still liable.
That's right.
Right, no, we do have to sell them, and that's the thing.
And then, let me say this.
It could get scary if you buy it.
The courts are never going to allow us to get out from under the legal liability.
Unless somebody buys them, how much are you
Well-
selling them for? Who decides the price of these properties?
The trustees, and then we'd have to, if we wanted to sell them, the trustees from there would have to get a quorum together, and we all have to vote.
But we could get rid of the HOA if somebody bought these properties and then put it under their own insurance. And then they're liable, right?
I am not certain on this fact.
That's a good question.
I don't even know what we were selling or buying, or I can't hear it.
You know what? Can you show me how to turn this
Yes,
on?
sure can.
She was saying if somebody were to, teacher, she was saying, PE teacher too. She was saying that if somebody were to buy those retention ponds and those properties, then it would technically be out of our name and our liability, it would be onto them. But even if we were to not establish a homeowners association and we were like to go and try to sell them, we're still held liable for them, even if we don't have insurance on them until we actually sell them.
And
So if we can get them sold, then we don't have to do homeowners, we don't have to do anything technically.
But my question is, who wants to buy retention ponds with liability for drainage
We
issues?
think about it, because we have an investment in Deerfield, so we would consider it. We would consider it depending on how much you're selling them for, what the easements with the city would be, and.
$1.
Right, right. And we would take the liability. We have investments in Deerfield, so we have already invested in this neighborhood. We just
Sell it
don't
for
want to
enough.
be told.
We can sell them correctly,
By
but it
HOA.
would be open to the public.
It is something to consider, and we might not be the only ones. This group, or this meeting is limited to the people in the Facebook group and who are told by
Correct.
friends from people in the Facebook group. But we could always post a sign saying that this is an option.
Did you post a sign? I don't remember.
What?
Did you post a sign? I don't
No,
remember.
but we can post signs like
That's
we do
right,
during
okay.
the garage sale. We have 3 entrances and exits. I think we should post to let everybody know who drives in and drives out, these options, whatever they end up being. That's my opinion.
So I appreciate you guys and possibly willing to buy that. What concerns me is that whoever buys or if we keep this land, whatever liability or debts might be on this land, we have no idea from the Barkers apparently. It seems like they haven't given us any information on what's happened in the past, 30, maybe 40 years. So they might have all this stuff out there. To their own covenants, apparently they're supposed to start in 1996, I guess, taking dues and that. And then what they also didn't mention is that HOAs are governed by the Common Interest Community Association Act. At the latest, since 1998, possibly 1999, is when they were supposed to have the board set up. And then shortly after that is when they were supposed to resign. So there's a lot of issues just we don't know out there. And I certainly don't want to be saddled with a big issue with drainage or whatever, and I don't think anyone else does either. So I just like to get more information, however we can get it from Parker.
Same. I also want more information, and I might have even, I don't know if I put it on my agenda or not. I have not personally talked to the Barkers because my mental health is worth something. I've worked a lot in doing some of these and printing that because I didn't really want to do this. But on the other hand, I really don't want to see my subdivision go to hell either. So I don't know a lot. I haven't talked to the Barkers, and I will. And I would, and actually Tim said that he'd be more than happy to make the connection. Tim will be the guy, the lawyer, the library, the talking.
Tim Rigby.
Yes, that's his name. Yes, yes, yes. I'm more than happy to sit down with whoever. Let's have a conversation. Let's talk this out. What's the best way we can do it? These are just my ideas. But right now, as it stands right now, if anyone gets hurt on those properties, they can sue all of us.
Right. Do either of you 3 have any legal experience?
No.
No, okay.
I work for a law firm.
Okay, so you know.
I'm in rules and
Chelsea's
regulations for
helped us on a
IDH.
few things, sorry to bring up your name.
No, that's okay.
It's okay.
We actually met through the legal field.
Okay,
So
good.
the likelihood of that lawsuit, depending on what the damages are and the number of insurance companies and the number of homeowners, there's very unlikely an attorney in town who's gonna pick that up. But, in the off chance that they do, it would be divided by every party in that case. Just like the Facebook lawsuits that they have to pay out however many dollars to every party that's in that case, it could end up being the total amount that we end up paying in HOA fees. So fear mongering about potential injuries, I'm not saying that you are, but they were in the library. But that fear mongering about we get sued, who's liable, it's very scary, but it's highly unlikely.
And as,
so, I'm sorry.
say, as you mentioned, your homeowner's insurance has already said it will be covered. So I understand that people don't want to tap into their own insurance, but that's insurance we're all already paying.
Oh, yeah.
Without all of this.
For sure.
And that's why even if we took these properties, I would be okay if we decided to invest and take these properties, I'd be okay if our insurance took on the liability of any injuries, because again, likelihood, pretty low.
Hey, if we want to sell the properties, get rid of the HOA, hey, I'm just providing ideas here.
Sure.
Totally cool.
This
But
is
it will be open to the public. It will not just be members of Deerfield. It does have to be open to the public for people to buy that property. And if someone wants to buy that property and put a big billboard on there for, Jerry Flynn's, there's nothing we can do about it. That's
We
in
could
their
see what the
backyard.
right for refusal is.
Huh?
pay your deductible, and then your homeowners will cover the rest. But also keep in mind that right now, with homeowners insurance, because of all the claims that they've had, you will get dropped.
Potentially, depends on who your homeowners is.
Well, and who did you have? Who do you have?
I personally have State Farm, but
I
I
also-
also talking to.
Same here.
Okay, I also have State Farm. I don't know who you guys all have insurance through. You might not even have insurance. I don't care, do you? But I also am concerned that if I have to use and make a claim, they're gonna drop me because that's what they do. That's the game. We've seen it. Things are weird. It's not fair, but
It happens.
it does happen, and that is a concern of mine. So, yes.
Did anyone find out, I think it was on Facebook, someone mentioned there's possibly like a $10,000 drainage issue. Does anyone know about that, if there is a drainage issue out there?
I've seen zero.
We know that there's a drainage issue, we know that there's an erosion control issue. We don't know what the estimates are to get it fixed, we don't know how long it has lasted. The city inspector and the city engineer. The documents that I FOIA'd got rejected again, which is really, I've never had a FOIA rejected.
If anyone
But so
has
we're
proof
waiting
of
on that.
big fees that
I
we're getting
talked
stuck
to the
with, I'll
city
take them.
inspector.
Where is the erosion?
That's the
issue,
one
you
that's
know?
shared between us and Oak Park.
The big one.
The big one.
So if you look at the maps,
Because the ditch.
so if you get
it
on
runs
GIS,
through.
yeah, you get on GIS, you can look at the maps, there's like 1983, 2000, something like that, and you can track the erosion control issues around that pond.
Are you talking
Yes.
about this guy?
I'm talking about number 3.
Number 3.
So it's
The
all
big
three?
one.
It's the big
The
pond.
big one,
The one we,
Oh, this guy, yes,
from
okay.
Greenbrier.
I see.
Yes.
I guess,
When it rains, it's got a creek running through it.
yeah, but
Instead of being a retention.
it's
pond.
getting bigger, that's the issue. And
Oh,
so
for
there's
sure.
homes around it, so it needs erosion control.
Nobody wants a new Lakeland Harbor.
Yeah.
It'd be
The worst
simple.
is what they've been done for 30, 40 years, but they haven't taken care of any, I mean, we just don't know, I'm not saying they have or haven't, but they gave us like one sheet of like 3 numbers of what they've done.
I know the documents exist, they just haven't turned them over yet.
And Ralph is gonna help us
He
with
did.
that.
Yeah, he
He reached
responded.
out to us today, so.
Okay, cool.
So if the city's inspecting it and saying there's an erosion problem, why is the city denying that it's in the city
That's
territory?
That's.
It's a really good question. The city
That's what
engineer
we're trying to
was
find out.
blown away by the response.
Could they possibly mean that it wasn't within their ownership and they maybe said it wrong or just trying to?
But wouldn't
They
that fall
can't-
back to the Barkers then?
Yes.
They resigned. They're
Maybe.
done. They were.
But they were still liable
It's our
during
problem
the time
now.
where the erosion occurred.
Sorry, I'm sorry.
They still were liable when the erosion occurred. That
Okay.
doesn't take their liability away, somebody just has to go after them to pursue that.
Good luck.
Well, that would be the
I'm just saying, if
HOA.
we're gonna put it all out there,
That would be
then,
the
you know,
HOA.
Right, yeah.
you can't push the
That's
liability
you.
forward.
That's you.
Yeah. Good luck.
If you own your house here, we live here, they got out of their contract, the contract says, last lot sold, they can legally get out of it. We never, none of us ever tried to put it together before and take care of it, they didn't wanna take care of it, they did the bare minimum. I get it, why they didn't even show up after hearing some stories on how they were talked to and treated when they came around and tried to get people to
You're an
start
attorney,
the
right?
HOA before.
But you know as well as I do, you generally can't offload negligence.
It's their negligence.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it would cost us money then to get a retainer for a lawyer to sue them,
Which we ain't got no money.
which
so.
we don't have money, but also if we were to get together some money for some rock, we could potentially fix the issue. So, which is,
Do we even need a lawyer yet? I have no proof that we need a lawyer yet.
right.
I mean, hold on, they went, she got faster than she, sorry. If it was
Go
a
ahead,
game
Mary.
show, she hit the button first, I'm sorry.
Go ahead, Mary.
Go ahead, Mary.
So in the state statutes and Barker's contract, it states that there is to be a handoff of information and potential liabilities and
Yes.
any fees that they have incurred, any work that they've done, anything in relation to that property should be handed off by information. So you said no one's contacted them to do that yet, correct?
I did. I went to the office and asked for the records at their corporate office, whatever it was out there, and they told me there are none.
Can I say something? Because I also haven't talked to the workers either. And after talking anybody unless we put a board together. They feel like we're wasting our time.
Well,
And I'm happy to sit down with them and sit and take down all the notes and then repeat back to all of you guys, hey, this sucks.
If
Let's
you went to
move.
their office, what'd they tell you?
I'm so
That's
sorry,
what
you
I
did
just
have your
said.
hand up.
I
I'm
went
so
to their
sorry.
office before the meeting at the library, so when they were still on the board that they created, and I asked for the documents that are supposed to be stored at the record that was provided on the notice. They told me they had none.
They ever
Bob
sent out
always
the
was
original
pretty
covenants
slick.
in the 1995 or 6? That, I don't know if you said your family was there in the 90s? They said in the, what they sent out, they sent us covenants, but they never included anything. I
They
don't know if
didn't have to. Oh,
Originally, they by law have to.
probably not when you moved in. The way it got changed and Oak Park was already there when your parents built.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
So, they changed that because they didn't want to have to tell anybody because they were annoyed. I know,
So,
it's
when
annoying.
they
I'm
say
so
that-
sorry, you keep raising your hand, I'm sorry.
If we just kept the property and maintain it, if it's, so I'm just doing math, there's 429 homes. If it's $3,500 a year, that's $8 a house. Like, can we just do that? And
It's 249 homes, not 429.
Yes.
according to Tim after the meeting, it was
I thought it was
429.
something, I don't know.
That's what Ricky said.
That's what he was telling me.
Because one of those is split.
I don't think that's necessarily a bad idea either,
But
is
it's like
fees, but
less
I don't
than-
wanna pay fees.
If
I
it's
would
less
like-
than $20 a year,
I would like to look at some fee options.
can we go around and ask for like donations instead? Like,
That wouldn't be fair.
Huh?
That wouldn't be fair to ask for donations.
Time out, we have not been fair this whole time, Gordon friend.
That's true.
Did everyone donate to your signs?
Yes.
Does everyone help come pick up?
That's what I was hoping that you would, but, yeah.
I'm not,
Well, I
sa-
guess
I'm
all
not
I'm getting at is
saying
just
the
if
money
we-
is a bad idea,
It's a
I would
min-
just like to look at other avenues that are
Yeah.
free and benefit
But at
us.
least in the meantime, we could just status quo, maintain it,
Correct.
and just collect 10 or $20 a
And
house.
HOAs are nonprofits, so you don't have to worry about paying a six-figure income.
See,
Yeah, I want zero money out of this, I just want a nice subdivision.
The lady back here.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
I'm just gonna say, the Barkers never came around to enforce an HOA back in the 2000s. No, they did not. And a second thing is, all of Deerfield has not been notified of this.
Correct.
People aren't on Facebook,
Oh,
so
yeah.
they need to legally be notified that all of this is going on before any decisions
were-
can be made.
They were twice. The meeting at the library was the workers giving notice, hey, put an HOA together. We didn't do it. Here's your letter, we're resigning.
Did we receive those letters?
I did, that's sweet.
I got 2 letters from them.
Any homeowner did, maybe not renters, homeowners.
After reading the contract, I saw that show up in my mailbox, and I was like, whoop, there it is,
But
because they
people
have
on
to legally
Facebook
notify
don't
us.
know that these meetings right now are going on.
Correct.
Is the thing.
And I totally get that, but guess what? I don't want regular meetings. I want to just put 3 people on the board and keep things the way they are ever, and try to find an avenue where we can spend the least money possible. And if at any point in time, we have to start talking about, okay, we need monies, or we need to mow, or we need to, then probably we need to come back together again. But at this point in time, I just don't, I would like to not waste our time again, but if we need some more time to think, I understand that. I'm just nervous about if anyone were to get, I have a 4 and a 7-year-old, that pond scares the shit out of me. So that's my 2 cents. Anybody is more than welcome to take this over. This is a free job. If anybody else thinks they can do it better or wants to join, please do, because I'm just trying, and I just wanna live here forever. That's all.
Go ahead.
Yeah, I think that we should open that election. I think we should have an election, whether it's required by the bylaws or not. And I think we should open it by posting signs to say, we have an HOA now. We wanna figure out if dues are needed, if an HOA needs to be funded, how to do that, and if anybody in the entirety of the neighborhood wants to join who's not just on Facebook.
An election is not needed to appoint board trustees.
I understand, but I think it'd be nice to have one, to give people an option.
I understand where there are certain things that make people feel better, but these are the rules. I don't want to necessarily enforce any bylaws, but to be transparent, I don't want you guys to pay fees. I don't want things to change. I know he makes, there you go, I know he makes fun, but I enjoy Mayor, Gordon. I really just don't want things to change, and I understand that, hey, let's change the process, like, to benefit, if we can benefit it, but I would like to do it the right way too. Sorry, when you do your hand, you line up with the back window. I'm sorry, I miss you a lot.
No, you're fine. I was just gonna say, as far as like the restrictive covenants, I know everybody's scared of those. To enforce those, you first have to have a fee schedule set up in the bylaws. You have to amend the bylaws to set up a fee schedule. Then, the board or whoever has to go issue letters to people who have violated that. And then they can set up like a late fee or a penalty, right?
I do have copies of all of these too, if anybody, I mean, seriously, call me out, I have not read all of these.
Then, if that person still refuses to pay, because it's a money thing, nobody's going to jail or anything like that. If they still refuse to pay, then we would have to pay to put a lien on that property, and we would get the money when the property is sold. That's a whole lot of work. I don't think anybody wants to do that. Nobody wants to have those costs.
That's why we're all here.
Yeah,
We're
but
trying to figure
that's
this
to
out.
say, let me just clarify,
Go
that's to
ahead.
say, you can have an HOA that handles the fences and the signs without having restricted covenants. We could set up like, Scott said down here, a $30 fee, and it would go into a fund, and it would cover insurance. It can cover, any major.
That's
issue
why we
that
need a
you have
board,
come up.
yes,
Here's
to
the,
figure all this out.
but I need to tell you guys something, and I want you to hear it, but I don't want it to scare you. Because the Barkers have resigned, 3 people could get together, anybody in this room, 3
Yes.
people could get together and go to the Salem County Courthouse and make themselves board trustees, because you don't need a vote.
Right,
And
Chelsea?
that scares the hell out of me. So, it doesn't, you're good people, but, I mean, I can't see inside your brain. Maybe you think my house would look good in purple, I don't know. So, my goal today is, I don't wanna pressure you guys by any stretch of the imagination, because that's not fair if you're not informed. That's not fair to pressure people if you're not informed, and I feel like that's how the library went down.
Well, to go off the not informed, to piggyback off what she said, there are several people here who aren't here because they didn't know about it, so they're technically not informed. So we really do need to get a meeting, I think, again. I know it sucks, I don't wanna waste my time, just like you guys don't, nobody does. But I think we really have to have one more meeting. We need those signs posted with the meeting date, time, location, because everyone's coming and going. Put them on the corners. Hell, I walk every day with my walker and my dog. I'm sure you hear me yelling at him as he's pulling me along. But I'll walk around and preach it. Yeah, I don't need a microphone. I'll walk
in one spot.
Oh, there we go. Yeah. But like, I think more people need to be aware of this too, not just the ones on Facebook. Because I even posted that on Facebook that that's not right. That other people aren't here that should be here too.
But Katie, I just have to say, I have Facebook. I'm not a boss. It's the easiest way for me to get in touch with people.
Okay,
Sorry.
but there are people on Facebook. All in.
Just a second.
She's.
So,
Okay, there are,
yes,
Paula? Yes,
Yes, thank you.
there are people on Facebook all day, every day, I see them.
For sure.
They don't care. There's apathy. They don't care. The people that are here care.
Exactly.
You make the decision. Make the decision.
So, here's another thought I want to throw out here, because this could happen. How many of you are going to be upset because after we leave this meeting, I understand why you want to get more people involved in the vote and all that kind of stuff. Totally get it. If anything ever changed in a bylaw or a covenant.
I don't even care about the vote. I just feel like everybody should be informed. Everybody should know what's going on.
I agree.
Everybody should have a chance. You don't seem you want to be on this, right? You don't want to waste time. You want to do the least amount minimum. There are people who care about this neighborhood and want to do the most. And there are retired people who have the time.
And that scares me to death.
They still have to vote
You mean
for
the
the
retired
bylaws to
people
be
who let
changed.
me run the garage sale every year, even though I'm a full-time mom and have a full-time job? I'm not trying to argue, I'm trying to do my best here.
I think we're rushing by self-appointing 3 board members without it giving anybody who's not on Facebook a chance to self-appoint themselves as well.
So let me paint the scenario, if you think we're rushing. I want you guys to understand that at any time tomorrow, Gordon French and Rick and I, all three can go to Sangamon County and write our names down as board trustees because we do not need a vote.
So let me ask this, is that
That
what
means
you're gonna
if
do?
you could do it too.
Is that what you're gonna do if most of us in here are saying we want just to give the opportunity? Are you just gonna make that decision and go down because that's what you keep putting that out there, that could happen?
It
Any
could.
three of us.
Doesn't
But
mean
can
it
you just
will.
lay it out there, is that what you're going to do?
I'm not doing it.
I don't, if you guys, hey, if you guys wanna, yeah, I don't care. If you guys think you have better ideas, awesome. But
I don't know that I have better ideas, I just want to be if we could just be transparent, is that what you're going to do?
I think what she's saying is the risk is I could go and do it by myself and just be like,
But I don't
okay,
know
now
yet.
that I'm in control, I'm gonna make all these rules.
I understand the risk, I just wanna know if that's because you are self-appointing, because we don't need a vote, and if we walk out of
wait,
here,
you're
it's still.
self-appointed? I'm sorry.
You are. You're saying you're self-appointed.
Oh, me?
Yeah, the three of you want to be on the board, and that's fine, but I'm just asking.
Whoa,
if
whoa, whoa,
that's-
whoa, whoa, whoa. Let me make something clear, okay? All the Facebook stuff was going on, I became aware of it, and a lot of misinformation about these retention ponds. And all I did was go to a meeting and say, I would be willing to be on the board. I'm not in a position to take a lot of crap from anybody. I retired 8 years ago because I didn't want to take a lot of crap from the state of Illinois anymore. Okay?
We don't take crap from them.
And it scares the hell out of me for anybody to be talking about trying to sell to somebody, even if you're an investor, because I'm going to demand that there be a contract fully to what I mentioned earlier about offloading negligence. Now they found out that there's at least $10,000 worth of work that's to be done. You want to still be interested in buying 3 retention ponds?
I'm not putting an offer on, I'm saying it's a potential, it's an option to explore.
Okay.
But what I'm saying is, I don't believe that $10,000, if that's the number we're going with, is not negligence by the previous owners, which would be the developers. Which is why I did some Googling, I did a little chat GPT, and it looks like the fund that the HOA should have had to maintain these properties should have been established by the developers. It is the HOA's board of directors, or whatever you guys want to call yourselves.
Well, I'm just a homeowner.
Well, the three appointed people of the board to sue them. And it's not much to file something in whichever court we have to file in. There's got to be multiple attorneys in the Deerfield subdivision that we could tap into as far as knowledge goes. That's not necessarily their job to do the suing, but it doesn't, you know what I mean? Like, there's a possibility that this fund could be established for the maintenance and in the rears and going forward by the developers for their negligence. In the same way that you would sue us if we took it over and something happened and said, nah, never mind, who else wants this for a dog? You know what I mean?
Tiffany, I'm sorry, you blended.
Yeah, I forgot what I was gonna do.
That's okay.
Okay.
Yes. Elizabeth, I'm sorry,
Okay, so I
whatever.
have 2 things. I think that like if there truly is a city inspector report somewhere that goes over this thing, I think that should be the first thing that we try and get our hands on, because that would, I believe.
Is that what you're doing?
That's what
That's what we
And I know Chelsea's trying to, I
She's
acknowledge
trying.
they're trying to, but I think like maybe before we make a decision on anything, we figure out what that report says.
True.
Like if it exists and what it says. So I think that's the first thing. But second of all, I did read the bylaws today, just Governor, and I'm having trouble finding where, like, I read nomination and election of directors, and where is it that the self-nomination is an option? Like, where in this is it that we can see?
It outlines it for the future. We have no future because our people resigned. And by law, they had to notify us that they're done. You're on your own. You live there, this is your problem.
So since
Those
there's no-
rules are in place for think we're supposed to have an annual meeting, and every 4 years we have a new vote. I don't remember the specifics, but those rules apply if there was a board in place. We have nothing right now, is all.
We're in limbo.
Yeah, we're in limbo. I should have remembered.
Just a
Okay,
second,
I'm
just a
sorry.
second.
She may have
You wanna
remembered
say
her,
something?
her question.
Just-
I also read the bylaws and it, it says something about 1/10 of the membership constitutes quorum. And if I remember correctly, I didn't attend the library meeting, but I watched a video afterwards. It's about 250 homes. Is that correct? So that is 25 homes. So it sounds to me like if 25 people are present and vote for a board, then they're not self-appointed. Is
Right.
that a fair understanding?
We don't have to vote for a board. The voting is for any changes you want to make to a covenant, a law. Oh, I mean, in normal circumstances, like the Barkers gave up. They just signed and they quit.
But you're saying that you believe there's enough people here that we could
That's
do
my
it?
question.
And I was gonna
That's
say
the way
that
I
earlier.
read it and interpret it. I'm not a lawyer, I'm not anything, but
43 would be that number. According to Tim at the library, it's 43 people, 43 homes.
43 homes.
And so how many homes are there supposed to technically be?
429 according to him.
429, he said that,
Oh, okay.
the attorney?
So I was off.
Okay, and so that would be 43 homes.
So I'm just
Did we take, do we got a count?
I
Are
have
there
a
43
question.
homeowners here?
I think we have more questions first.
But they're
But
not,
we're-
we've got renters.
So I think the quorum was only for amending the bylaws, not the election, right? So, I'm also wondering if there would be any harm in just renting the room at the library, because we can do that for free. I checked it when I was looking into this. And it holds more people. Post the signs. You only have to give them 48 hours notice. It's a written ballot. Whoever shows up, shows up. I mean, I have no problem electing the people who want to do it. But then we're by the book and we've got it done.
We could do it that way.
And I don't feel like that is.
What was your statement?
If you guys wanna do that, you
Oh,
can.
okay.
It just take long, it's just longer that we're wasting our wrist on the
And did you have
property,
a
and that's
comment?
fine. And, the longer we go without
We
letting
couldn't
the
hear what
workers
she
tell
said.
us
What was her
anything.
comment?
Huh?
What was your comment? I didn't hear it.
She didn't think it would hurt to have another meeting, post the signs and have another meeting. And that way, everybody would have an opportunity. We don't know if they're gonna pay attention, but if you post the,
But you give them the opportunity, right?
Yes.
You give them the opportunity
At the
to
three
miss out on
entrances.
participating.
Are we all giving everybody the opportunity? Because 3 people can head on to the same.
I
meeting.
agree. I feel like we should have another meeting. If you agree, Katie, just raise your hand.
All in favor, say aye.
And also, can I say, we keep talking about like 3 board members. I almost feel like having. For some reason, I feel comfortable if there was more than 3 board members. I agree. For a big neighborhood,
Minimal.
I just feel like there should be a little bit more, not that I don't trust you guys, but I just
The
think it would be
minimum
nice
is
to
3.
have
If there's
more
more people who want to
representation.
join, please, I don't know, I don't know.
Yeah, well, I know, I think.
Yeah, you're right, Katie Kaufman, yeah.
You know,
So we have 4 now.
yeah, Katie is on.
You're okay.
So we have 4 now.
So who's renting so a couple things. In the meantime, I love that you guys are willing.
We can't hear anything because there's so much talking.
hold on.
So in the meantime, to protect us from the liability of someone getting hurt, can we, since you guys are willing, would you be willing to like line up the insurance and do that and the mowing? What does that look like? And then someone else can be
They don't have any
responsible?
legal authority to do that.
And the funds.
Okay. Can we vote them in so that they can do that and then we can reevaluate at the library at a later date? Can we vote you guys in tonight so that we can get some of that stuff established?
What I'm saying is you don't need a vote. I'm sorry, we don't need a vote. If you guys want I have not talked to the Barkers, and I'm not going to unless I have to. If you guys want me to help, I'll help. And I will keep you, I'm transparent as all can be. I'm recording this video for the people who couldn't attend, and unfortunately that is on Facebook, and I'm not sending it to everybody. This is a free job, and my sanity needs a little something. So I'm willing to help, but if we want to keep dragging this off, I'm willing to help to a point.
Let's go here first and then back there.
Do we share property number 3 with Oak Park? Do we have to talk to them? Do we have to do anything? Like that is co-owned, if they transferred it to both us and Oak Park.
So the line is the red mark, and that's where the property line is. The only part I'm nervous about, and if I was on the board, I would talk to Oak Park about, hey, you see that little thing of
Right, but the parcel
sticks?
number.
Yes,
The
yes.
parcel belongs to both of us, like, that doesn't really matter.
And we can
The
cross-
parcel is co-owned by us and
Is that
them.
right? Still?
So how do you, do we need to talk to them? Do
We have easement agreements on the 95
Right, but
contract.
are they insuring it too, or we're insuring it, they're mowing it, we're paying for it? Like,
I haven't talked to them.
That's a mess.
I've done this much research because I'm full-time mom and worker.
Yeah, Oak Park's not.
Oak Park Estates.
Okay.
Oak Park Estates is I don't know who they fall under.
Estates.
States for Oak
That
Park.
was strict.
But I know, but they're not Oak Park, they're not Deerfield. They did not agree, it sounds like, from the people who stayed afterwards from the meeting.
No, they did, they got it for it.
Did they get a board?
They did.
Yes, so maybe they have insurance already.
Yeah, so I would double check that, so we're not double paying.
But they wouldn't, their insurance policy wouldn't cover us.
So if a kid fell in from our side, as long as they I'm sorry, I didn't mean to be graphic, but you know what I'm saying, like, would they have to stay on our side though, or if
Insurance covers
I'm not trying to be mean, but you know what I mean, like, how does that work? Like, are we
The
both
parcel.
technically liable? Like,
The parcel.
Yes.
I get, oh, sorry.
Go ahead, Greg.
Go ahead.
Go back here.
Just an opinion, but
Yeah.
you guys
You
have
have to do
gathered
what they
all
want
the
there.
information.
I'm so sorry.
You guys have gathered all this information to share, which is much appreciated. We all need to know this.
Correct.
But it is the right thing to do to offer for other people in the neighborhood that don't know.
Exactly.
We do need to do
And
that.
that's what I'm saying, go ahead.
What, I'm not finished, thank you.
Oh, I'm sorry.
No, you're good.
So,
I can just hear you now.
Chelsea has kindly tried to contact the Barkers. That should be the first order of business, because I said earlier, in the state statute and Mr. Barker's contract, he is responsible to have a handoff meeting with the new HOA.
Okay.
So,
Not to disagree with you, but there's nobody to have that handoff meeting with till if there's a board established or not. the board
we'll
established.
have a meeting and then decide who the board members are.
They're not gonna have that
Contact.
meeting because there's nobody to have a meeting with.
Right.
Oh, she's talking about a
Sir,
second larger
I'm saying
meeting
about our second meeting after the other neighbors have been
after
notified.
we
Mary, I
post
think I
the
have an answer,
signs.
I think I have an answer to your
Okay.
question. And I think I have an answer to your question because I did talk to Tim Brixby, that guy that owns property on Cormorant. And I'm sorry, I don't wanna hurt anyone's feelings, but he did not think the February, or the library engagement was a positive one. So, he told that to the Barkers, and the Barkers are gonna refuse to hand off any information until we get serious people involved. I'll talk to them, I haven't talked to them yet because this is
They
free.
do need to give it to me when I.
Then someone needs to meet with the Barkers. That has to happen.
They could, but you also are lawyer, we drag out, you know how many folios I can drag out?
Doesn't matter, she's a homeowner.
I went as a
I know.
homeowner when they were in charge of our board, to the address that they provided.
Right.
You guys
It's
know-
a weird place too, in case anyone's been there, but I was in the right place, and I know, and he was like, I don't have anything.
I guess, oh, sorry, Tiffany, your arms have gotta be tired, I'm sorry, go ahead.
So one of the suggestions of the board that formed for Centennial, the guy who was the former president, he was part of their formation, he suggested that your board makeup should include the officers that are elected, and also a member, a representative from each annex. So there's like, what, 14, 17?
Wow.
17.
But those people also initiate their rules and have fee schedules, and they don't leave shit alone. I want.
No,
No,
I'm
she's
saying
talking
that
about
they would be a part of the
each
board.
edition.
Right, like, there's a president, and there's a secretary, and you
No,
can.
no, 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 no,
no,
no,
no,
no,
no, no.
What is there, been 13 editions?
17.
17? So you're talking about a board of 20 people?
I see what you're saying.
I'm out.
I see.
I'm out on that shit. I'll tell you that right now, because that's unwieldy, it doesn't work, and it's gonna lead to nothing but trouble. And as I said in the beginning, I'm not having any part of that nonsense. I would hire my own attorney and sue the hell out of anybody and everybody if that kind of stuff goes on.
Go ahead, Tiffany.
So the reason why he suggested doing that is so that you don't have to have meetings that have 500 people in there. You would have a meeting where, like, you know, let's say Candace was my representative of the board. And we would meet with Candace in my little addition. We would tell her what our feelings were, and then she would go and vote. And then your meeting isn't out of control, like when they tend to get.
So it's like block captains, right? And they're in charge of your block, and they're the ones who represented you. They make sure your block is okay, and they go for you and talk for you, right? Like a union president would or something like that.
That's not something we have to do.
Yeah.
It's a suggestion because
Yeah,
that's what they set up.
That's a good idea. Yeah.
Yeah, but how many additions were there out there?
We just said 17.
No.
Hold on a minute.
Where you got your
It's in-
suggestion, yeah.
It's huge, it's bigger than we are.
But how many additions did they do?
I can ask.
Here-
4?
Here's my only recommendation, because I know that it's getting dark, we all have kids, I'm hungry. Here's my only recommendation. I would like, and I believe so would Gordon and so would Rick, to be on some sort of board so that the Barkers will actually talk to us and tell us what's going on. I would also like anybody in this room, please help us and join us. If you are smart, please come help us. And then that way, we can put on Facebook, and I'll even help make the signs and put them out in front of the subdivision. To say, hey, this is, I love transparency. Love it. So this is all, but I don't have it yet because there's no board. So I want to tell you guys more information, but I just don't know because workers are refusing to talk to us unless there's a board initiated because Tim didn't paint a pretty picture.
Just a second. Steve, what'd you say earlier? 17
I think
additions?
there's 17 additions, but number 5 is nothing.
Okay.
So it doesn't count. If
Okay.
you list all the additions, except for 5.
Got it, thanks.
But literally anything I ever find out, I'm going to post it immediately, so you guys also have that information. Now, I know there's the concern that there are people that aren't going to get it into the mail or whatever. Okay, you can post signs out, that was a good idea, Deegan. Post signs out in front of the 3 lots. We did that with garage sale signs, we can do that. And let people know. And if you guys wanna change the covenant even, we can do that. I think what it is saying we're supposed to meet once a year or something, or we don't have to meet, we don't have to have quarters, we don't have to have meetings, we don't have to have fees. We can do whatever the hell we want with our subdivision, but we can't get started until we talk to the Barkers. I don't know what I don't know. That's all I'm saying. But I'm willing to have that conversation with them. I think these two are, and anybody else that's interested. I'm not trying to pressure anyone. I just don't know what I don't know, and it bothers me.
Can I interject? Sorry, okay, so can I ask, how many people here would be interested in taking on this shit show? Besides the people that have volunteered?
Don't make me mentally ill looking. Okay, yeah. Okay, so.
I don't see any hands up.
Yeah, not any of them. So out of the percentage of the people that did know about this and did bother to show up, 4 have offered to leave this. So, do board members, can you add board members at any time after, you know?
I know you can, I know you can minimum 3, I believe you can have more.
Yeah, exactly, what he was saying. So are you guys okay with them taking over? No, you can't have a nomination, there's plenty. You're starting in the middle, we have to start from the top. The Barkers resigned, we're on our own. So, okay, so is anyone in this room opposed to them stepping up and trying to get stuff from the Barkers? Because any vote that may and or may not happen, which has to, let me understand this, let me get a second. You guys can say we're the board, right? Get the ball rolling, get information.
We cannot say we're the board.
No, didn't you say you can?
Anybody tomorrow who would have said we can,
Yeah,
put their names down.
but that's what I'm saying. So then at this point, once a board's established, then a proper vote can take place for everyone in the subdivision. Am I wrong about that? Doesn't a board need to be established to vote new people in? Am I understanding that?
You mean vote more board members?
Yes.
people that are talking about the
I know
board
we need a
voting
minimum
in.
of 3, I don't know if there's a max. If you guys know if there's a max number, if you all wanna come hang out, like, who's got the pool? I don't care, like,
Okay,
let's,
what if-
I don't know if there's I know we have to have a minimum of 3.
Well, but
I
what I'm
believe
saying,
we can have more, so if there's anyone, I've seen a lot of people with a lot of passion in this room. If you guys know something, what to do, if you're craving to learn like me, let's hang out. Your arm's gonna get tired too, I'm
yeah,
sorry.
well, let me try to get this point across. I'm trying to get the information. Is anyone here opposed to letting them try to get the ball rolling and information from the Barkers before anything official is taking place? Because who else is gonna do this? Collectively, and then gather us, get the notes, send the letters. Is anyone else willing to get the information to give to the masses?
Well, but here's the thing, she said we're waiting on something important too, and I don't.
Is that for the board or for the actual work? Step one is in a board, right?
We would know what we're taking off. My concern is that there's, some of the changeover things, but if we acquiesce to this board idea that was presented to us by electing people, are we losing our right to do X, Y, and Z? And I don't know what that is. That was my concern as to, they've shoved this down our throats and said, pick people, and then they say, oh, you guys have a board, we're done.
Just like she said, that's why we want to wait.
That, and I don't know. I don't know if that's the right thing to do. But I'm not terrified of something happening between now and when we figure it out.
But you're more terrified of what could happen of us rushing to the
Yes.
board and with
Yeah.
the unknown.
Are you terrified of me going to Sangamon County tomorrow and writing my name down?
No.
No, I trust our neighbors. I think we're good people. I think,
Yes.
I think we're all good people. I don't think there's anybody driving to Sangamon County tomorrow eager to do an HOA board.
And honestly, if they do, then we have a new person to sue.
To sue, you can, hey, never mind.
So it sounds to me like the step we are at is in January, where the Barkers decided, we're just gonna make a board. And they just magically made it, and then eventually they all said, we're done. So we're at that point now where we're just, let's make a board.
Well, they magically
And-
made it to offset $10,000, potentially more.
Okay. So
Maybe.
what's,
And then said, never mind, not us.
what's $10,000 divided by 430 something, 20 bucks?
1 year fees.
Yeah, it's not that much.
Well, that's simple to dance.
What's that?
They might be legally.
Who's gonna make it?
Yeah, I like you said, I trust everyone here. I trust these three very much. I have no problem, like, I'm sorry, I don't know what your name was. Corey. Yeah, I trust you saying, like, let's say, go ahead, be a board, and then we can have a meeting where we do another election or something and add board members or anything. But in the meanwhile, just have
So
you
you're saying
three.
that they would be interim positions?
Yeah.
Like an interim
That's
nomination
exactly what
committee.
the Barkers did. They were an interim board. What's that?
Interim, great work. You're interim head coach
Give
right
me
now.
1 second, because her arm's gotta be tired. I'm sorry.
What are the quotes obtaining for the board members for the E&O insurance?
I'm so sorry.
For the board members, what are the current quotes that you've gotten for the board members for E&O?
What's E&O?
I got a quote from the.
We have.
Okay.
But that was why, because we have.
I've only done this much research because I was not a paid position. It'd be time someone to make me cry and I would've left.
Certain ones you can just add another line on it. Like, I
Can
don't
you
know.
share what you're saying with the rest of us?
You don't wanna be on a board unless you are yourself covered by insurance.
I want to protect my community with the least amount of money as possible and keep things the same. I didn't want to get involved, but with that being said, I will, right? I will be involved and that's fine. But with that being
If you're on a
said,
different board, trust me, you want to have insurance.
oh, for sure.
That's what they're talking about.
And for the record, we can't change
Organize
anything
a
that's
HOA
in the
and-
bylaws.
That's why there should have
Levy a
been
fee.
funds.
Your board
Because
trustees,
now you're
however
gonna
many
take on
there
that
are,
liability without the insurance
We
anyway.
can't change anything without a quorum. The downside, I'm sorry if I appear as if I'm trying to go fast and trying to rush us all into something. My downside is if we don't do this, so we don't talk to the Barkers, and there might be a $10,000. If there's a $10,000 and those dead bodies he tells me about where he buried, I'm moving to Guam, but I quit so fast. But
Honestly, I would vote yes just to see if they would speak to you.
I don't think they will, even if we have a board.
I really
If,
don't.
after the library thing,
They didn't even show up.
I wouldn't show up either.
They didn't know it was gonna go like that.
Well, no. I bet they did. They did
Well, they
because
should have.
they attempted to get us to do an HOA report. It doesn't sound like, I didn't live here then, but it didn't sound like we were real kind.
I don't know when that
How do we get out of it then? I mean, why are we stuck in it now?
Because you bought property that's here. You live, if you don't,
No, I mean, back then, how'd they get out of it?
what do you mean?
HOA or the? We got one here, she likes Mary Beth.
Okay, her and then him.
I just have two comments. I was at that meeting at the library, and Tim Rigby said that there hadn't been an HOA until they created it. So that was all, before they created their 3 people, which was actually only 2 people, because someone served 2 purposes. There was no HOA before that. So his comment was, people wanted to know cost, because this was just an estimate. His comment was, it was private before that, good luck getting any of that information. So quite honestly, do I think they're going to interact? No. I'm good with you doing whatever you need to do, but I don't think they're going to interact. The one thing I do think we need from somebody, and I don't know if it's Tim Rigby or who, is an actual, there needs to be a mailing list that includes people that own the rental property.
Yes.
Because putting signs up won't,
Yeah, we
won't
both, I
get
know,
those
but then
people, so.
the cost too. We don't have any money. I mean, I can ask again and everybody can donate what they want, but. we
No,
don't
I
have money.
agree. There
Yeah.
needs to be a
So
way
I'm
to
work-
share some of those costs.
I'm personally
I get
working on
that.
getting a mailing list for every owner, rental people.
Owner, yeah,
Don't have to
right.
worry about it.
But the people that are renting those houses know who they're renting from.
Yeah,
They
we were
know
notified by
you
our
know who owns your
our-
house.
Yeah.
But they probably mailed that mail, when we got that original letter.
We walked
I'm
the
assuming
block.
it went to.
They found us in
owners
taxes,
of
but
the
they don't
property.
find us.
Yeah, but that's what
There's
I'm
a
saying.
lane.
In order to be legally served, it has to go to the address that the taxes go to on your county bills.
They find us with property taxes.
Okay.
But that list is, it's not super easy, but it's doable.
Can I tell you the only reason I'm comfortable with going out this far on a limb? And I'm sorry if you're here and if I'm getting ready to embarrass you because I don't know what you look like. But Ralph, our alderman called up me and he's like, look, every time you guys say something needs done, we need a stop sign, we need a blah, blah, blah. He can't do anything, so he calls Ralph. Ralph can't do anything, he immediately calls the Barkers and it gets done. I don't know if that's true or not. I've never met them, but I'm willing to stick my neck out there and learn a little. And if it gets too hot, it's a free job and I'm not gonna go crazy over it, but I'll help you, I'll help.
Ralph did-
Gather information.
Excuse me, Ralph did say, just a second, that to me, is that the Barkers are good to work with. He said anytime before, you people have been here the longest, he would, Ralph would ask him something and the Barkers would take care of it. So Ralph's on good sides with, the Barkers, so maybe we can find out something through him too.
Well, and I did ask him for the address list and he said, sure, we'll give it over to the board. I'm like,
Good deal.
okay.
This gentleman had a question.
I'm sorry, I have to leave soon, so I just need to know, are we allowing, or are you guys planning to go to St. Clair County and sign up as the board, or are we meeting again? That's all I wanna know at this point.
I don't have an answer. I'm
Why not both?
That's both. I personally would like for at least a minimum of 3 people, more if you're smart and have knowledge that I don't have in this noggin to come help, be on the board. That way we've established our board.
I mean, I'm sorry,
and
I
we can
hate to
find
keep
out
on
things
talking,
wrong.
but you keep saying the same thing, and that's fine. I just want to know what we're doing. So, do you guys plan to go to do the board, whatever you have to do in St. Clair County? Do you plan on doing it this week?
I guess we'll see how the end of this meeting works.
Could we vote who wants to wait on establishing the appointees, or who wants to do it tomorrow with these three? Can we just vote on that way and then go with whatever way this room goes?
I guess my question would be, how long are we gonna have to wait? I mean, you know what, these guys have got a thankless job, sitting here trying to talk to this group of people. Anytime you get a group of people together, and you got 10 people in a room, nobody's gonna have the same opinion. And I don't mean this disrespectfully to the other people in the neighborhood, but we're having trouble right here amongst this small group collectively making decisions. The more people we get in here, it's gonna be even worse.
But does that make it not fair? Because they don't have to have a vote.
I don't know, how long are we gonna have to wait? Again, are we gonna say, we wanna get everybody involved, and we're gonna wait, is it gonna be 6 months before we get back together? Or is it gonna be 2 years?
I'd say we just make a date now, in here with everybody here, and then if that's what people vote for, of course, and then that way everybody knows, tell your buddies in the neighborhood, do try to do the sign thing, I got nothing to do with free time on my hands right now. So like, I mean, I think the right thing to do would be to let other people be involved.
Go ahead.
So many of them.
Just a second.
Yeah, I hear you.
Yeah.
He's been waiting.
For those of us that have been in the subdivision prior to 2007, has anybody been contacted by Bark about creating an HOA? Because we haven't.
Anybody what?
Has anybody been contacted by the Barkers?
Prior to 2007, about creating, did you been there since prior, about creating an HOA? For those of you that have been here the last few years, those of us who've been there much longer, have never received anything like that.
So I guess that's kind of also a concern is the people who've been, because the most invested in the subdivision, who have been there the longest, are the ones that aren't notified about this. So I do see like some concerns in that area.
We are very concerned, we're very concerned with what we're taking on.
My concern is, Barker developed this. He's developed stuff all over town. For those of you that have grown up in this town, he owns property all over the place. He's not dumb, he's got attorneys. He makes his decisions and makes his moves for his own benefit when he does it. There are questions that need to be asked and answered. And if it requires a board to do so, how are we gonna get that? That's where we're gonna vote, we're gonna do it. That part we need to finish up quickly, but he needs to be asked and told, transition. If you know of anything, referring to Barker, if you know of anything that needs to be done, is that why you're dumping it now?
Well, and I would love to know that. I want proof and I wanna know it. And if he does, if he thinks he's gonna dump all of that on us, and he thinks that's okay. But we don't know what we don't know. But if he thinks he's gonna dump stuff on us, Chelsea, I'm gonna be a hammer right on your ass, cause they aren't gonna stick us with anything.
Well, the reason they're getting out now.
No, honestly,
One, two, three, four,
that's
five.
a liability. This terrifies me, the fact that you guys want to sign up for that. You don't have directors and officers insurance. I appreciate it.
I just got a plan, I'm a pilot, the fear is, I'm more at risk by doing nothing. Risk analysis, I know you guys say it's risky that a kid would get hurt or hit upon or get on one of those properties.
I mean, that's covered if something happens. If you guys take this on and then.
I don't want insurance, yes, and then they'll drop me.
Then somebody's coming after the HOA board. If
So
there is
here's what
one.
we need to do, guys, because we got a lot of people leaving, and I think a lot of us are all concerned that we're gonna get ourselves into a bigger situation than what needs to happen. The other thing that I know from like a selling standpoint, our houses have been selling for a lot more than what a lot of people bought their house for. If there is an HOA established, our realtor told us that could affect the value of your home. And that person can say, no, I am not going to buy that home because of their HOA. You got 3 years for your board members, then you're gonna get some more board members. Or what I have seen of the HOA laws or standbys or whatever. You got 3 years, then 3 people can be on there. Then you gotta have 3 more people. What happens then, this is what my big concern is, that new people come in 3 years and they say, you know what, I don't like any of your guys' 6-foot fences or your sheds or your pools. You gotta take that down. Now we have a lien against your house. That's an issue. I personally, and I think everybody should raise their hand if you agree, we need to wait till we get more information that Chelsea is trying to get for us to see if we're getting ourselves in a bigger situation and or a liability issue. Please raise your hand if you would like to wait.
Do you mind if I say one thing? I am completely fine if you guys all wanna wait. I will not be helping any further from here on out. I've done what I can, and you guys probably really are intelligent, but I personally can't waste any more of my time. I've poured too much into it already, and that's not a threat by any means, but if you guys wanna take it on and wait, go for it.
Okay, so I'm,
I'm sorry, I'm not trying to be mean, but I'm sticking my neck out to try to help the subdivision, and it's okay. There's a lot of smart people in this room, and I know you guys are gonna get it taken care of. We have insurance.
See, to me, that looks like
For now.
trouble for those 3 people that we wanted to just elect, that are just gonna get up and leave first.
I'm sorry, I'm not trying to get up and leave, but.
I mean, I appreciate everything you guys are doing, but it doesn't make it a good look.
I'm an
So,
ugly crier, and I just don't
to
want
me, that looks bad when you got 3 people ruling, that's what's gonna happen, people are coming after you, and they're gonna.
Don't understand liability.
Okay, can I ask you a question then, since we've chased off our volunteers? Who here wants to volunteer to reach out to, she wants to do.
Wait, I don't even know what I'm volunteering, I didn't volunteer.
You want somebody to talk to the Barkers
To
again?
the neighborhood and get to vote and organize
I
who
will
the
post
nominees.
signs at all 3 exits and entrances with my phone number saying, anybody interested in joining an HOA, call me. We'll talk to the library, we'll get something on the books.
Right here, right now.
Okay, what's the next date?
Twice on Sunday.
When's the meeting?
I know it's pretty open, so like,
I'm not rolling over.
How about 2 weeks notice? Is everybody good with 2 weeks notice? I'll put up the sign, I'll try to do it tomorrow.
They don't wanna use their listening ears.
Okay, maybe I'll.
Can I ask her?
Oh, no.
She's done her like voting.
He doesn't want to vote. I'm done. I don't want to say that he was. I have done a lot of work.